Hey, you beautiful beings. Welcome back to another episode of Empowered Human with Nina Garcia. I am your host, and this is the growth oriented podcast. I say that every episode because some people are not growth oriented and they get really upset when they hear these episodes. Y'all, do yourself a favor. Know if that's something you value. I want to offer you things. And so, this is the growth oriented podcast that is going to help you transform from powered to empowered. Okay. I want you to feel confident and secure at your core in the way you human and how you human as you go out there in the world with other human beings. Okay. I want you to be able to own your truth without invalidating yourself and without invalidating others. And so, all this month, how are we doing that? Well, let's just dive right in, folks. The question of this month is, how can I level up emotionally? In our last episode, we really focused on exploring your emotional landscape. How could you level up emotionally? By thinking about your internal weather, by being aware of if you have comfort camps or not, and really recognizing the difference between ignorance and avoidance. If you are interested in any of those topics, tune into the last episode. I guarantee you're going to take something good with you, okay? But the next 3 episodes are going to expand on that. How can I level up emotionally? Your answer in a nutshell for today's episode is exploring the first part of the emotional security equation, and that's emotional fitness. For those of you who are not familiar with the emotional security equation, get your journals out right now. We're going to write this down. Emotional fitness plus emotional wealth equals emotional security. Okay. Emotional fitness is going to be the core of today's episode, and I will certainly explain more to you what that is. But for now, grab that journal or a really good friend to dialogue with about what comes up for you in this episode, because of course, you know by now, I'm so curious. Are y'all ready to play? Let's take a breath on in. Ooh, ground it out. Ah, breath. The one thing that you can definitely control to the best degree of your ability. If you do not have a breath work practice, this is a great episode to start exploring that, okay? Emotional fitness is the core of today's episode. And for those who are unfamiliar with what emotional fitness is, essentially, emotional fitness is your ability to have a variety of skills that you can use that help you emotionally regulate, that help you develop emotional strength, right? That's the ability to really feel your feelings and handle the weight of difficult feelings. That's emotional strength. Really ask yourself right now, do I feel emotionally strong? Can I deal with really difficult feelings? That's emotional strength. Emotional fitness is your ability to be flexible as the situation needs. So if you're a person who can only be happy all the time because maybe that's the like household that you were raised in, is like slap a smile on even if you're in pain, even if you're hurt, even if you are feeling something else, right? Then we're not as emotionally flexible as a human being could be and might even benefit from. And I'm going to say, as an empowered human, right? Definitely, we need all the emotions, right? You benefit from being able to respond to a variety of situations in a variety of ways. Okay. So, with that said, emotional flexibility is your ability to feel all your feelings when it's responding to something in the moment and let them pass out and through you, right? You can feel a variety of things. That's flexibility. So, really ask yourself right now, do I feel emotionally flexible? Can I feel a variety of feelings and let them pass out and through me? That's emotional flexibility, right? Could you imagine if you're like angry all the time? If you're sad all the time? Yeah, that's a lack of emotional flexibility. There's nothing wrong with you, but there is definitely some leveling up in the emotional arena that we can do. Can we agree with that? I hope we can agree with that. Okay. So that's emotional flexibility. There are so many other factors that we could say are present within your emotional fitness, but I also want to name one more, number 3 on the list, emotional resilience. Okay. This is when you get knocked down emotionally and you get back up. That's the resilience piece. We will be knocked down, folks. You cannot be up forever. There is something that is going to knock you down a little bit, a lot of it, anywhere in between. But your ability to choose to get back up because you have the skills and have done the work to get back up, that's emotional resilience. So, with that said, I want you to ask yourself now, do I feel emotionally resilient? Am I an individual who, when I get knocked down emotionally, can find my way back up again? Emotional fitness, about strength, about flexibility, about resilience. And you might even notice, does it sound a lot like the gym? What? Yes, there is a reason for that, folks. For all my gym goers out there and people who don't go to the gym, this will still make sense to you. Emotions work and building your emotions work a lot like going to the gym. When you go to the gym, it might be really uncomfortable for you to, say, start bench pressing if you've never bench pressed before. Okay. But as you lean into your edge and start bench pressing, let's say maybe you can only bench press, we're going to say 50 pounds, okay? 50-pound bench press, there you are. And you're like, okay, I've got this. I've never bench pressed before, but I can do 50 pounds. Let's do 500 tomorrow. What? Oh my gosh. Your gym trainer would be like, what you talking about? No, we don't do that. You want to break yourself? I don't want you to break yourself. Your gym trainer don't want you to break yourself. You don't need to break yourself. What we need is a plan. And a lot of people think at the gym, maybe not so much, but emotionally, that you can go from 50 pounds to 500 pounds like that. But it doesn't quite work that way now, does it? So at the gym, instead of jumping from A to B, 50 to 500 pounds, it's actually more like a 1 to 5. We have to slowly work our way there, slowly, step by step, hitting 1, then 2, right? 50 pounds, then 100 pounds, then 150 pounds. No gym trainer would probably tell you to put on 50 pounds at a time, but that's not the point of this episode. Stay in the metaphor, folks. Stay with me here. That's what's happening at the gym. And you know what? It's probably uncomfortable for you to put on a little bit more weight. Your muscles might hurt a little bit. It might feel a little bit tender for a bit as you learn in your physical body how to hold that weight, right? As your muscles develop greater strength and flexibility and resilience to snap back after the workout. That's what's happening at the gym. Let's knock it over here, folks, to what's happening in your emotional arena, okay? With your emotional fitness. The same thing. You might need to start with a 50-pound emotional conversation versus a 500-pound conversation. Okay. You might need to start with a 50-pound, especially if you've never had an emotional conversation or you feel really uncomfortable around emotions. We don't jump you into the deep end over here, folks. We give you a weight that is so much more reasonable and that meets you where you're at so that over time, you begin to take on a little bit more emotional weight, a little bit more emotional weight. And it turns out you can actually develop emotional strength, greater emotional flexibility, and greater emotional resilience over time as we continue to invite you to lean into your emotional edge. Yes, this is emotional reconditioning or conditioning, however you want to think about that. Okay. We're taking you and saying, we can do this. And it is not magical. It is not mystical. It's math. It is emotional math. And all we have to do is figure out how to meet you where you're at with the weight that's appropriate for your unique individual self. Yes, your emotional landscape and wherever you are on it in the moment. And then we figure out how to add a little bit more weight so that you become a little bit more emotionally fit. Now, the key bit about emotional fitness as a part of the emotional security equation, yes, is that emotional fitness is all about you, yourself, folks. It's all about you. So it's your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, your emotions, all of that, the skills that you have emotionally to regulate you. That's what emotional fitness is. It's not anybody else. It's not how you parent. It's not how you work. It's not how you boss. It's not how you citizen. It's not about relationships with other people at this point. Emotional fitness is just about the self, it's just about you. And so, if we can accept that and we say, you know what, Nina, I want to be a little bit more emotionally strong. I want to be a little bit more emotionally flexible. I want to be a little bit more emotionally resilient. Fantastic. I want this for you too. And here's how we're going to do that. I like to give adventure challenges. Yes. Now, normally I give them in like a self awareness, self knowledge, self realization, and I give you them in levels. Today, I just want to put it on the table for you. First, one of two, okay, that I'm thinking that we're going to give you, okay? Now, you already have emotional fitness as an idea. You've already asked yourself the questions first. Am I emotionally strong? Do I feel emotionally resilient? Do I feel emotionally flexible, right? You've already asked yourself these questions, I hope, because that would be like your first adventure challenge. Quick break for a sec. If Empowered Human is offering you something valuable about courage, healing, belonging, or love at your core, you may want to work with me. in particular, if you know of or identify as a high achieving man, and I say this quite seriously because if you don't, I'm going to drive you up a friggin' wall. High achiever that has leveled up in every arena except your relationship with yourself or your relationships with others. Visit empoweredhuman.love for more on how you can level up in your relationships with one of our Empowered Human intensives. Intensives understand the value of your time. Of the 3 that I offer, Walk into Courage covers a month's worth of weekly sessions in just 2 hours. Dive into Courage is a 3-day intensive that can cover up to 6 months worth of sessions. And Ascend into Courage is a year-long program to give you the skills and the network you need to level up for lifelong emotional security. When it comes to leveling up in your relationships, I got you. Head to empoweredhuman.love for more. But for now, back to the episode. Your second one would be, do you have a breath work practice? And no, I'm not talking like hooey fooey, let's like light some candles. Not that this is like a terrible thing, right? And like practice our breath work. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay. If it's good enough for the US Navy SEALs to have a breath work practice, it is good enough for you, okay? There's a reason why we have breathwork practices. It is to ground you in the present, to stop you from future tripping and jumping emotionally to the future, or past tripping and jumping, right, from the past into this present and pulling all that in. No, breathwork invites you to ground in the present. And if you're struggling to be present on your emotional bench press, which happens in the present, in this moment, if you're struggling to lift the weight on that emotional bench press, breathwork may be something that helps you get grounded in the moment so that you can hold that weight. Okay. I want this for you. So if breathwork is something you can add, there's an adventure challenge for you. Okay. The third one that I would offer to you is around emotional funneling. Now, we love emotional funneling in the Empowered Human universe. We do, okay? Really quick in a nutshell here. I want you to imagine that there's an actual funnel, okay? Just like a funnel, you pour, a liquid into the top, it's got a much wider mouth, and then it funnels down into a smaller mouth, right? And it takes a lot of unmanageable liquid and it makes it come out very manageably. Yes? Emotional funneling works the same way. You take a lot of unmanageable emotions, you walk them, run them, move them through, right? An emotional funnel, which is something structured and that over time takes unmanageable emotions and it makes them more manageable. It doesn't stop you from feeling. What it does is it helps you have manageable emotions so that you have greater clarity to make decisions that will help you move forward in your life, on your landscape. Yes, to reference our last episode. If that sounds appealing to you, emotional funnels are plentiful. They are the things that help get you out of your head and into your body so that you can move that emotional energy through you. Emotional funnels are critical for human beings who are having big feelings and the emotions are disrupting their ability to actually make decisions or see things clearly. Okay. It takes the edge off, folks. It might be a run. It might be a walk with some weights. It might be a general walk outdoors where you're actually practicing your breathing as you do it. It might be listening to music that starts with you at a 5 and it moves you down to a 4 and it moves you down to a 3 and then a 2 and then a 1. It is helping you ground. It is helping you get back into your body so you can actually respond to things that are happening in the present. 10 points to everybody who's noticed out there that we keep coming back to the present. Your emotional fitness happens in the present. Okay? Take one of these adventure challenges. You deserve it. You deserve to level up in your emotional arena. You deserve to level up emotionally. I want this for you. Take something from this episode, right? And as a recap, what did we go? We went over emotional fitness, right? Strength and flexibility and resilience. We went over breath work. We went over emotional funneling. Take something that works for you, and I want you to use that and commit to it. This week, that is your adventure challenge. I want you to level up. Do it with me. Share with me on Instagram at Empowered with Nina, okay? I want to know what your wins are. Share it with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for listening in this month as we explore leveling up in our emotional arena, okay? That is what I planned for you today, folks. Stay tuned, okay? While this episode is done, our upcoming episode is going to talk about emotional wealth. That's the second part of how to be emotionally secure, right? In the equation. It's the second part, and it's all about relationships, okay? That's all I'm going to tell you for now. But stay tuned. Thanks for listening in. I hope you wrote all the notes down and took the nuggets with you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.